Hello and welcome to the Harbridge and Cross training program on Tools, Working at Heights, and Heavy Equipment Inspection Training, Chapter 9, Version 1.0. Harbridge and Cross is committed to health and safety and believes in order to be effective, health and safety must be cultural and expressed at all levels of the organization. This is our agenda. First, we'll discuss the roles and responsibilities of all workplace parties. From there, we'll move into legislative requirements. Next, we'll talk about the injuries and hazards associated with using our tools, equipment, or other devices. From there, we'll talk about the job site inspection forms that are available at Harbridge and Cross. This includes the inventory list, tool inspections, working at heights inspection forms, heavy equipment inspection forms, and then to sum it all up, we'll go through the care and maintenance. Please hold all questions to the end. Roles and responsibilities. At Harbridge and Cross, there are no free lunches. Everyone has a job to do. Beginning with senior management, their job is to review the guidelines and training requirements for job site inspection forms annually and to apply changes to the manual as required. They are to ensure that all job sites have proper inspection forms, including for tools, working at heights, and heavy equipment. They are to provide all workers training on how to use the Harbridge and Cross inspection forms. Superintendents and supervisors have an important job to do. They are to review with workers their tools, working at heights, or heavy equipment inspection forms prior to the start of work, use a red tag out on any tool, working at heights, or heavy equipment device found to be defective, and verify through site inspections that workers are using tools, working at heights, and heavy equipment in a safe manner. Your safety coordinators are there to support you. They are to verify through site inspections that workers are using tools, working at heights, and heavy equipment in a safe manner. Use a red tag out and report to the supervisor any tool, working at heights, or heavy equipment device that is found to be damaged or defective. To train workers on the Harbridge and Cross tool, working at heights, and equipment inspection forms, and to review all workers' inspection forms to ensure that they are filled out correctly. And of course, workers. Your job is to participate as required in the Harbridge and Cross training program on tools, working at heights, and heavy equipment inspections, and to use the assigned forms. Identify on your DTAs the use of any tools, working at heights, or heavy equipment to perform your daily activities. And of course, to use a red tag out and report to your supervisor any tools, working at heights, or heavy equipment device that are found to be damaged or defective. Legislative requirements. In the Occupational Health and Safety Act, Section 25(1), an employer shall ensure that A. The equipment, material, and protective devices as prescribed are provided. B. That the equipment, material, and the protective devices are in good condition. And D. The equipment, materials, and protective devices provided by the employer are used as prescribed. Section 28 of the Act 2 states no worker shall A. Remove or make ineffective any protective devices required by the regulations without providing temporary protective devices, and B. Use or operate any equipment, machine, device, or other thing or work in a manner that may endanger themselves or other workers. Under the construction regulations, Regulations 21391, under Section 26(4), 5, and 6, for both the travel restraint, fall restricting, or fall arrest system, it states that it shall be inspected by a competent worker before each use. Additionally, under those subsequent sections, if a component of a travel restraint, fall restricting, or fall arrest system is found to be defective on inspection, the defective component shall be immediately taken out of service. And lastly, 94(1), all mechanically powered vehicles, machines, tools, and equipment rated at greater than 10 horsepower shall be inspected by a competent worker. Injuries and hazards. Not performing an inspection on your tool, working at heights, or heavy equipment devices can result in many injuries to yourselves or others in the area. Beginning with your tools, it includes electrical hazards or shocks from faulty grounds, cuts or amputations of fingers from missing guards, projectiles from unsecured parts, flying particles from dull blades or damaged bits, and of course ergonomic hazards from missing or damaged handles. And again, you have some pictures here of some of the hazards that we could look for on site. When it comes to our working at heights equipment, the hazards and injuries includes fall from damaged equipment, pendulum swings from long lifelines or poor setups, damaged webbings from frictions and abrasions, holes and punctures on straps due to chemical or tool burns, worn out materials due to extreme temperatures or poor storage, or expired and overdue equipment. And lastly, heavy equipment. They include rollovers from poor outrigger setups, rollovers from uneven weight distribution, reversing into workers due to damaged backup alarms, damaged engines or hydraulics due to poor fuel top-ups, improper attachments, or fire hazards due to a lack of fire extinguisher. The message is this: you want to take care of your devices so your devices can take care of you. And again, these pictures here just show some of the injuries and hazards that can happen to you or others in the work area. Job site inspection forms. Harbridge & Cross provides all staff using tools, working at heights, or heavy equipment devices inspection forms to complete prior to use. The purpose of these inspection forms is to be proactive in the maintenance and the quality of our devices before each use. Devices that are found to be damaged or defective should not be used because it can put the worker or others in harm's way. Devices should be inspected to comply with the service and maintenance requirements and to schedule follow-up services as they become due. And devices should be inspected to maintain its good quality and use for the duration of the project. Once again, the goal is to take care of your devices so your devices can take care of you. This is just a summary of some of the tool inspection forms we use here at Harbridge & Cross. They include the inventory list, tool inspections, working at heights inspection forms, and of course heavy inspection forms. Let's look at them a little bit closely. The inventory list. The goal of the inventory list is to itemize all tools, working at heights, and heavy equipment on the job site. And the goal is this: we want to mitigate theft on the job site, respond effectively to environmental spills, keep track of the service and maintenance schedules, and reduce lost time for searching for tools and equipment. The Harbridge & Cross project team is responsible for keeping an up-to-date list of all power tools and working at heights equipment owned by Harbridge & Cross, and a list of all heavy equipment, whether it's owned or rented by both Harbridge & Cross and its subcontractors. The way we complete these forms is we want to first identify the company in charge of the device, determine if the device is owned or rented. Next, we want to identify the equipment type. Is it a skid steer, an aerial lift, a generator, a power tool? And next to that, we want to include the serial number. Moving that forward, we want to include the arrival date of the equipment and of course the subsequent removal date when the equipment is removed. And lastly, a contact person in the event of any kind of hydraulic or environmental spills, loss, damage, or theft, or damage to the tools. This is just an explosion view of an inventory management list form that's used on all of our projects. Tool inspections. The tool inspection form is general and designed to be used on most power tools. Typically, the form is designed for one tool inspection at a time. However, for carpenters who generally use many of the same tools throughout the week, they may use one form to inspect all tools. Just remember, include on the form or on a separate piece of paper attached to the form a list of all tools and the serial numbers that you're using. If a tool is damaged, take it out and report to your supervisor and record under the comments section the damage occurring to the tool. It's also important to record when a repair is completed on a tool or if we're going to dispose of that tool in the comments section. How to complete the tool inspection form. Step 1. You want to complete the title information, including the project name, the supervisor's name, your name, the tool that you're using, and the ID number. Again, if you're a carpenter using multiple tools, you don't have to fill in this section. You can just refer to the attached page. Next, we want to include the date, beginning with the month and the year and the date of the week in the space provided. Step 3, inspect each component. Whether it's an energy source, cord, ground, we want you to put a check mark in the space provided. It's important to know that this generic tool inspection form is designed to be used across many different types of tools. So typically speaking, not all aspects of the forms may be applicable. When this occurs, just add NA in the box in the space provided. And this is just an explosive view of the tool inspection form. And you can see here the project information names, the tool names, the dates, and of course check marks in the space provided. And of course there's also important to include comments on the tool inspection form. Working at heights inspections. The Working at Heights inspection form is used for all Working at Heights equipment and is designed for one worker to inspect their own Working at Heights equipment. Harbridge & Cross performs an annual inspection on all Working at Heights equipment and shows this by using a tag system. Each tag has a serial number and a tag color. Each year, the tag color will change. Only inspect working at heights equipment before each use. Workers cannot share this form. It's one form per worker. How to complete the working at heights inspection form? Well, very similarly to the tool inspection form, you want to complete your titled information. You want to record the date that you're inspecting it for the weekly period. Step 3, you want to add the serial number of the working at heights equipment. Now again, at Harbridge and Cross, we tag all of our equipment, so you want to include the tag number and the tag color below it. Step 4, you want to inspect each component, the D-ring, straps, webbings, and lanyards. And you notice on these inspection forms it includes both your harness, lanyards, rope grabs, and of course, lifelines. And again, this is just a larger view of the equipment inspection form. You'll notice in red all the titles that are filled out. The check marks are placed in the space provided. Heavy equipment inspection forms. At Harbridge and Cross, we provide inspection forms for most heavy equipment. This includes skid steers, aerial lifts, forklifts, and generators. The inspection form is designed for one piece of equipment at a time. However, the same form may be used by different workers to inspect that same piece of equipment before each use. How to complete the heavy equipment inspection form? Well, again, just like our other forms, we want you to complete the titles, beginning with the project name, supervisor's name, and your name, and the equipment that you're using. Next, we want you to include the date, beginning with the month, year, and the day of the week. We also want you to add the inspection of each component in the space provided. So whether we're inspecting lights, warning devices, fuel top-ups, wheels, pins, conditions of the cabins, we want you to include it all here in the space provided. And this is just a larger view of these forms. The care and maintenance. Prior to the start of work, all workers are required to perform an inspection on all tools, working at heights, and heavy equipment using the assigned forms. We want you to check for damage, cuts, abrasions, electrical hazards, or any other damaged parts. Tag out damaged devices and report them to your supervisors, and inform your supervisor when equipment is at or approaching the service or maintenance schedule date. Remember, you want to take care of your equipment so your equipment can take care of you. Questions. If you have any questions about this or any other training program, please contact the Harbridge and Cross Health and Safety Department.